We are humanity's first and last line of defense. We are Watchtower.
This is where the fun begins.
Grievous's ship is directly ahead.
Oh, I see it. Oh, this is going to be easy. Let them pass between us. Pull up! They overshot us! They're coming around.
Surge all power units R2, stand by, reverse thrusters.
We got him, R2.
What's up, shipbuilders? Hey, who else is jumping in to play the new Watchtower mod? I actually started thinking about this build before the mod was released, so it was a very pleasant surprise to try out a new ship, especially in those incredibly large ship battles this mod provides. This is exactly what I want from my mods and DLC, more ship battles. Now, I do have a confession. When I first set out to build this ship, I had wanted to keep it small, keep it compact. And so my initial draft looked like this, and I was not happy with it at all. Then I thought, why am I restricting myself when no Starfield build will be compact enough for this ship anyway? Why not instead use the parts at my disposal to achieve the look I want? So I scrapped that initial build and went back to this, and I couldn't be happier. Alright, let's take a look at the main ship systems. And as in all of my builds, I strive to use the best ship parts in the game that I can reasonably make fit the aesthetic of the ship. For this ship, you're getting some of the best parts. First, the reactor. I'm using the Pinch 8A reactor, a favorite of mine. If you've seen my prior videos, you know that the Pinch 8A reactor sacrifices power points at 36 compared to a max 40 with the Pinch 8Z, but it more than makes up for that in health points with 1,950. Which is 600 more than the next closest, or nearly 45% more. Not only does that mean higher health points, but you get more health repair per second if you do need to repair your ship, as ship parts repair as a percent of total health per second. Next, the Grav drive. The way to choose a Grav drive is to find the drive with the lowest mass that still provides at least 28 light years of jump range, and that's because the largest distance between two star systems is just under 28 light years. This Helios 400 Grav drive accomplishes that for a ship of this mass with my character's maxed astrodynamic skill. For the shield, we're using the Vanguard Bulwark Defender Shield. I believe this is one of the best shields in the entire game, and it approximates our droid companion for this ship. It's one of the best because it performs so well across all specs that matter for a shield. Shield health, regen rate, and mass. It has the third highest shield health at 1450 compared to the highest shield health with 1600. So you're giving up 150 points of shield health, but you're saving on 90 points of mass over the Assurance SG-1800 shield. Plus, we have a slightly faster regen rate too. Next, engines. Engines are always a difficult choice on any ship because they play such a critical role in the look of the ship, but you want top engine performance too. So for this, I went with 2 White Dwarf 1020s on the aft, but only for looks, as these are not great engines. So to make up for it, I snuck in 3 SA-4330s, which pound for pound are some of the best performing engines in the game, and still give us that high Class A top speed, second only to the White Dwarf 3015s. It means this is designed as a lightweight fighter ship build, prioritizing acceleration and mobility over cargo space. Now for weapons, I chose an overpowered particle beam loadout and mixed in some missiles for fun. I enjoy obliterating ships in a single volley of missiles. And these CE-59 missile launchers have a preferable mix of 4 rounds per magazine, while delivering some of the highest burst damage per missile. The Vanguard Obliterator autoprojectors are arguably the best ship weapons in the entire game, and that's due to their ability to benefit both from the energy weapon system skill and the particle beam weapon system skill. And you can place up to 6 of them on your ship, which you should always place all 6 to get their maximum damage output. And you can get them very early in the game, just by completing the first quest of the Vanguard questline. Last, I put on the PBO-175 auto Helion beams. Now I would typically go with the Exterminator 95 MeV auto Helion beams over these PBOs, but for symmetrical reasons, because you can place 4 PBOs and only 3 Exterminators, I went with the PBOs. Obviously, choose whatever weapons you like the most. Now, a quick aside before we jump into the detailed build. All these detailed stats, you can find a deep dive video on, which I'll link to below. And then you should do some specific ship part shopping before you just go to your Outpost Landing Pad to complete this build. Specifically, you'll want to go to New Homestead on Titan, and there you should get 2 of the NG-20 landing gear, along with that Cabot C4 Bridge. After that, travel to the Stroud-Eklund system, or the Stroud-Eklund Staryard, in the Helion system. I like to go here to get my reactor, shield, and weapons, basically all the high-end expensive pieces. And then if you want shielded cargo, which there's not much cargo on this ship anyway for mass reasons, you can go to the Red Mile in the Prima system. And then to complete the build, I always go to my Outpost Landing Pad. Alright, now let's jump into the detailed piece-by-piece build. What we're going to do is build an exact copy of this ship, just side by side. So to start, go ahead and grab the landing bay, this Ship 200 landing bay. And then off the back side of this, we're going to go grab a 1x1 Hab. I like to use this Tayo bottom companionway, and I use the A version, which does not have connector points on either side, which gives a more rounded shape to the sides. Then we're going to grab our docker, just this slim docker, flip it upside down. So that takes care of our landing bay and our docker right off the bat. And then the back side of our Hab, we're going to grab this hauler cargo hold, just to get a little bit more cargo on this ship, because there's not a whole lot. So that cargo piece has a bit of a rounded, tapered shape to the aft side. Next, let's go back to our Habs. And we're going to look for some 2x1s. I'm going to stick with the Tayo theme here and just get the Tayo mid. Place that there as we come up the ship. And then we're going to go ahead and grab some 2x1s. So we Gonna go with the 2x1s. Well, this time we want the B version, so we have connector points on either side. And I realize I made a mistake there. We don't want that 1x1 just yet. We want 3 2x1s. So you're gonna come in the landing bay, straight into the 1x1, which has the docker, and then you come up a ladder and you'll have 3 2x1s. You'll see there's one there on either side. And so we can switch these to be, again, use whatever type of hab you want. If you want a workshop, you want a control station. I usually go at least one control station because that gives you a lot more crew spots on your ship, but it's up to you. Coming off of those 2x1s, go to the structural tab. We're going to grab some of these Stroud cowlings. These they're like a 3x1 size, and then I'll come off the forward side of the Habs, and get this Stroud nose cap D, and that's going to start to form the side of our wing. I'll move this over just a little bit. Off the back of that nose cap, still in the Stroud section, we're going to get this Stroud cap B, and that's going to form the back end, kind of that tapered look of the wing there. Next, we want to grab this Nova cowling piece and change the variant so it's facing backwards. Again, that's going to form the back tapered part of that wing as well. Just carry that sweep backwards. On the front side, get a Nova wing and put that on the front of that Stroud piece. Now, all the way up at the top of the structural section, we want some of these Deimos spine pieces. Spine E, copy that, flip it backwards. And then we want the Deimos spine G in the middle. On the bottom, on the bottom side of this wing, we want the Skeg A. And we're going to have one of those in the front, and then copy it, flip it, and one on the back. And then in the middle, we need our landing gear. So grab those NG-20 landing gear, and we want kind of this middle variant here, which is kind of a thinner variant, kind of slots into the middle. And so that's going to form our wing. Next, for the engines, remember we slotted a few of these SA-4330 engines in the middle. To do that, you want this middle variant. So flip it a few times. There's 2 different variants that'll work, these kind of middle variants, and you'll see how that slots in there. You can see it just fits into a 1x1 space. It's one of the few, I think maybe one of the only engines that does that. And then in front of that, we're going to have, if you can see here, if I can get my cursor right, this Helios 400 Grav drive right in front of that. Now that doesn't have connector points on the sides to connect into that Stroud piece. So what we're going to need first are some of these Stroud nose cap, kind of these wing looking pieces, the Stroud cap A. So grab some of those, we're going to flip it. We're going to have one underneath like that, off of the Nova wing, and then one above it, and one behind it flipped backwards. I flipped it the wrong way, hold on. And it's still going the wrong way, there we go. So that'll give us something to attach to for our grav drive when we get there. And then in the middle, this Stroud cowling just maintains that sloped look. So that'll be in the middle like that. Now we can get our grav drive, this Helios 400, and slot that in underneath that Stroud cap A. And so that's what each side looks like. So on the other side, we just copy and flip. Give myself a little more space. I'm just going to copy each piece, flip it over. Copy and flip. For these, I'm going to select all of them at once and copy them, because I don't actually need to flip them. Makes that easy. Now for these engines, I'm going to have to flip them a few times. 1, 2, 3, just to get the connector on the correct side. we're going to have 2 of them over on this side, so we get 3 of those engines total. And then get the one that goes underneath. Right there. And that's most of our ship done already. Now, to complete the rest of this, we're going to need to go back to Habs and get a 1x1 that'll bring us up into the cockpit. So I'm going to go grab another 1x1. I'm just going to stick with this Tayo theme. Get a 1x1 mid Tayo here, and that's what's going to bring us into the bottom level of the Cabot Bridge. If you're familiar with the Cabot Bridge, it has 2 levels with stairs that connect them, which is kind of cool. So this will bring us up to the bottom level. Bring this up. There we go. You'll see how those Stroud Cap A's actually slot underneath the slope of the bridge pretty nicely. Now we're going to copy this Stroud Cap B from either side and put that on both the port and aft, or port and starboard aft sides of the Cabot Bridge. Same thing for these 2 Stroud Cap A pieces. And that'll give us kind of a backward sloping, narrowing look for the cockpit. Go back to your structural tab, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and we get this Stroud mid bracer. You could put a 1x1 Hab here if you wanted to put maybe more storage or something. Putting this 1x1 mid bracer will just allow you to, it'll just block off that upper door, and it'll keep the ladder from going all the way to the top of the ship. So it's up to you what you want to do there. When we take a look at the interior of the ship in a bit, you'll see what I mean. Now we're ready for the reactor. Grab your pinch 8A reactor. That's going to slot in the back there. And then on either side, we want our fuel. So let's grab our fuel tanks. These M50 Ulysses tanks. You'll need to be Starship Design Rank 4 for these, but these are the most fuel efficient tanks in the game. So we'll have 2 of those on either side. And then we need our engines on the back. So these are just for looks. They don't provide a ton of performance. The White Dwarf 1020s. So we'll get 2 of these. And we'll have 1 on either side. And we're mostly done with this ship. See, not a whole lot to it. Couple things, weapons. We got the CE-59 missile launchers. Remember the PBO-175 auto Helion beams, which go on those Nova wings. And then these Vanguard Obliterator autoprojectors, which we're actually going to need to put a few additional pieces on our ship for. So I'm just going to delete off some of these just to give myself the extra part space that I need since I'm building 2 ships at once. Shipbuilder doesn't like that a whole lot. So back to the structural tab. All the way up near the top, we've got some Deimos wing pieces, specifically these wing E. You're going to have 4 of these, and then at the front you'll have these weapon mounts, the Horizon weapon mounts. 1 on each side, and that's where the Vanguard Obliterators are going to go. And not to forget, our Vanguard Bulwark shield sits on the side, just to approximate our droid friend. And that's it. That's what it takes to build this ship. For paint scheme, you can go with it whatever you want. There's different colors that fit the theme of this ship. I obviously went with Anakin's yellow, but you can go with the red or the blue, whatever you want. And now, let's go ahead and just take a quick look at the interior of this ship. It really is quite simple, and I must say, fairly elegant. So, from the landing pad, As you know, we've got our landing bay entrance from the front of the ship, which will make it nice when you come into any port. Although, in this one, my vehicle is kind of doing something strange. You come in the front, and you'll come right into this 1x1 with the docker right here. So, pretty simple. Docker entrance all in the same place. Come up the first ladder, we've got our control center, which gives us those extra crew spaces and a window looking right out to the guns. Off of one side, I have my captain's quarters with a bed. And then on the port side, I've got my workshop. Everything I need in a ship. And then if we come up the other ladder, or if we fall and then jump, we've got our 1x1, which will lead directly into the cockpit. And again, this cockpit with the stairs up to the main level. And most of my crew is up here today. I love this cockpit. Now, remember what we said about the 1x1? We didn't put a 1x1 on the top at the back, and so it's just blocked off. You could do that, but then the ladder just continues all the way up, and I kind of felt like it was useless. And that's it. Hope you enjoy this ship. I'm really pleased with how this turned out. I wasn't sure if I could pull it off. So enjoy. Let me know if there's any ships you'd like to see built next. And until next time, keep building.